Poor old Jerome lost his mind over the whole thing, and he ended up, I think, in a mental asylum. Morning guys, from Cove here in County Cork, and so I'm here today to talk about the Lusitania, and the first point we're going to visit before we go and see the graves of the victims is this statue here in the centre of the town. So this is the memorial here to the Lusitania victims, and it's described as the angel of peace standing over two exhausted fishermen figures. It was erected to remember those lost in the sinking. So this is the plaque here at the base of the statue here for the victims, the memorial here. So if you want to pause the video and read that, please do so. So not far from here, and we'll go and have a look at that, is a 19th century Victorian building here. It served as the shipping line's offices and pier for transatlantic passengers. So this is the old office here. It's called the Cunard Centre now, and of course the Lusitania was owned by the company Cunard Lines. So this place was known for managing mail and passenger traffic. It also played a tragic role in 1915 as the coordination point for survivors of the Lusitania. So this operated from 1867, acting as the final point of contact for many immigrants living in Ireland. The building had previously served as a bank, a library, tourist information centre. So there we can see up the very top, just there, the Cunard Steamship Company Limited. And we have just a little plaque here on the wall as well. It says Titanic. And if you want to read that, as I said, please pause the video. Right guys, that was just two locations I wanted to show you here. The memorial statue there for the victims of the Lusitania and the old Cunard shipping office there. So let's go up now to the old cemetery. Right guys, so we are here at the old church cemetery here in Cove, and we're going to look for the graves of those victims of the Lusitania. But before that, we'll just give you a little bit of information about the ship itself and what happened in 1915. So it happened on the 7th of May 1915, the sinking about 11.5 nautical miles off the old head of Kinsale. So it was a German U-boat, a U-20, fired a torpedo at the Lusitania. Shortly after the torpedo hit, there was a much larger second explosion inside the ship. The combined damage caused the liner to sink in roughly 18 minutes. The disaster helped shift international opinion, especially in the US, against Germany, and became a major wartime propaganda touchpoint. So this is the old cemetery here in Cove. Really is beautiful. Lots of old graves. So the Lusitania was a luxurious Cunard ocean liner, and that's where we were earlier, down at the old office there. The crew and mixed cargo from New York to Liverpool, they were going in wartime. She was built for speed and had been constructed so wartime conversion could be possible. So there was lots of people on that ship that died. There was like cooks and all sorts of staff on it, passengers, sailors, etc. So the first area we're going to go to see these graves. There's 3 mass graves altogether, and there's individual graves then of people that were recovered from it. So this is a glass kind of monument here marking the spot. Now I don't know if you'll be able to read it or not on that glass, but I can read it for you. It says Lusitania Centenary 2015. In eternal memory of the 170 victims of the sinking of the Lusitania buried in this cemetery. We remember here 25 victims buried in 20 individual plots, as well as all those buried in 3 mass graves. So there's a number of names on that. There's a Reverend James Beattie, John David Crompton, and other names on that. So it is hard to see. So not far from that glass memorial there is a grave here. And we can read the inscription on this. So this one says Alfred Scott born June the 27th 1911 and died May the 7th 1915, a victim of the Lusitania, foully murdered by Germany, it says on it, if you can see that there. And not far behind Alfred's, we have another grave right behind it. The Celtic Cross. And this says, in tender memory of Inez and George Leigh Vernon, both young, beautiful and gifted, victims of the Lusitania crime, it says. Now if we make our way down, as you can see, there's a number of World War I graves there as well. So just over this direction, a perspex kind of glass here. And this is in memory of the 69 victims buried in this grave. So they're all scattered about in these mass graves. James Aitken, Margaret Armstrong Anderson, George Herbert Arthur. There's a number of names all the way down along there. I don't know if you can read them on camera. And this stone. Okay guys, so we're still on the video here of the Lusitania, and we have this grave here in memory of Jerome Murphy, who died the 3rd of August 1892, and we have a Brian Kennedy 1895 and other family names. But if you just look down the bottom, down there you'll see a photograph, and it says Jerome B. Murphy, manager of Cunard Line office. Now that's the office where I was earlier. I showed you that. And in Cove, at the time of the RMS Lusitania, he was the manager in that office. And apparently, after all the episode of the bodies being brought ashore, the victims of the Lusitania, poor old Jerome lost his mind over the whole thing, and he ended up, I think, in a mental asylum, sadly. And I don't know if I can get in a little bit closer. I'll walk around this side and we can see the photograph there of Jerome, a young man. So that is another connection to the Lusitania there, that grave. So this is to honour those named here, serving on the RMS Lusitania. And we have all these different names. Fireman T. Kane. We even have waiters, a matron, a cook, J.B. Hine, able seaman, J.P. Houston, a stewardess, and a number of other people there. And the same on this side. All these people's jobs, firemen, we have a greaser, able seaman, we have a assistant butcher, G. Ronan, ordinary seaman, J. Thompson. So there are all the names on that. Now if we go back over this direction here, we can see there's one of these glass memorials here as well. And maybe we could read this better because it's kind of in the shade. Now there's also photographs of these people, the victims, and I will add that to the video if I can find some of those. There was a lot of young children, men and women on it. There's also a photograph of the mass grave when it was opened, and there's just a line of coffins in the mass grave area from back in 1915. And I think there is actually footage of the funeral as well when they were bringing the coffins up here. So this is mass grave B, so they're all kind of named. So this is in memory of the 52 victims buried in this grave. And hopefully that side of the camera angle you can read there, Annie Thompson, and a number of names. So there's another grave just here, and it says, in memory of Ernest Thomas, son of David and Anne Thomas, St. John, St. Whitland, South Wales, I think that says on it there. Also Mary, his wife, whose body was not found. Both were victims of the ill-fated Lusitania on the 7th of May 1915. And you can just read it there. Mary, his wife, her body was never found, which is very sad. So in the days after the sinking, fishermen and rescue crews recovered bodies along the coast. Many corpses were brought to Queenstown, as it was known back then, now Cove, where local authorities and clergy organised funerals and burials, including the large communal graves that we've just seen. Right guys, I'm going to finish the video up here of those Lusitania victims we went to visit, and rest in peace to all the people who sadly lost their lives on that ill-fated ship. So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all on the next one.